Well, we are 2 hours before the midday due start of the first race of the Bacardi Cup. I'm here with Monsieur Xavier Rohat. Xavier, you've won this event in the past. You're back here in Biscayne Bay at the lovely Coral Reef Yacht Club. Just tell us, what does the Bacardi Cup mean to you, Xavier?
It means a lot. It's a very historical for the star class. So it's really the combination of amateur and pro sailing, and you can feel the power of the boat and the power of the history inside the specific event, the Bacardi. It means so much.
Okay. So the format of the week for the 90th Bacardi Cup is one race per day, 6 days racing. Xavier, we're standing outside and it's very, very windy. My tie's blowing all over the place. We can see if Seb, our cameraman, just moves up to the palm trees, you can just see how much breeze there is. It's probably about 25 knots out on the race course. Carl, the race officer, was saying it's unlikely today. What are your thoughts, Xavier?
Yeah, we are too near from the upper limit, 25 knots. It's still raceable, but if it's 27, 28, then it's gonna be a nightmare. We're gonna break too much equipment and maybe some bodies. So it's better to be quiet because the rest of the week is really good. So the condition will be more successful to have a nice Bacardi.
Now, we are, both of us are representing SSL. You're competing as well as being one of the founders of the Star Sailors League. Now, this is not our event. It's the Bacardi Cup. Bacardi Cup's been going for 90 years, and it's a different old school format of very long races, like 3-hour races, and one race per day. But tell us, why are we here as SSL covering it all?
Why are we here? It's long tests we are doing since the beginning of the SSL idea. We test different formats, small, short, inland, outside, and lakes and cities and everything. And now I'm pleased to be here because it's a good connection between the past and the bay and the open sea. And so we're going to test this new format and see how it can combine with the pro sailing and video and media and live coverage and action and decision, emotions. So I think it's very interesting what we're going to see this week.
Thank you. And we have a wonderful media team, if you don't mind me saying so. We've got a phenomenal cameraman, phenomenal technical team. We've got Virtual Eye, we've got the America's Cup camera, we've got some great editors, wonderful director Chris, he's going to love that. We'll try and do some analysis, I think. So I wonder if after your racing, whether it's today or tomorrow, would you come in and we'll speed up the whole race into 5 or 6 minutes. Xavier, would you help us do some coaching analysis? You're an Olympic class coach, you coach the French 49ers and so on.
Of course, and it's the game. What is really interesting in this kind of racing is you need to know the skills of the boat, you need to be able to drive and go fast and hike hard, but you need also to be really tactics, strategy, all the tricks you need to overlap boats, create the gap and take the opportunities, plan the future, plan 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour. So it's a very big combination of all those decisions. And yeah, we'll be pleased to come every night and have the coach analysis.
Nice. Okay, well that's rather cool. And we'll replay the analysis in the following day and also put it up separately on Facebook and YouTube and all the rest of it. And really my kind of vision for that is that it's relevant to all sailors, whether you sail an Opti or a Topper or a 470 or a Laser or a Melges or a J24 or a Big Fleet, because in one design racing, I think the Star class, it's been around over 100 years, and they're not foiling and going at super high speeds. It's old school tactics which are relevant for most of the sailing classes around the world. And I think we can use the SSL and all our resources here to help educate and absorb our viewers and racing fans?
Of course, the the game of sailing is always two sides: the speed, for sure, the boat, the feeling, the sensations, and what the boat gives to you. But it's also a game, and you have to play the game. And I think the star class and the star is really good for that because the game is really complicated. There you find always people that play better than you, and you have to learn all the time. And after 20 years sailing the star, I'm still learning, still going with new ideas, new tactics, new projection, and so it's very good.
Xavier, good luck to you and Pierre-Alexis Ponceau. Yesterday I had a little chat with Luca Modena, the Italian coach who's Olympic class and world champion. He coached the reigning world champions, Bruno Prada and Augie Diaz. Luca's been here all week training out there, and we asked him to give us a little analysis of the runners and riders. And funnily enough, he mentions your name, Xavier. So let's cut straight to Luca. Some of the sailors are talking about it's very shifty here.
Yeah, it's true.
What skills are they going to have to pull out of the bag to win this event?
Oh, I think it's going to be a very difficult week technically. We will have the strongest, trained guys coming up in the breezy days, and then we get more technical and more instinctive sailing in the middle of the week, and then again well-trained athletical part and well-trained in the breeze will give it I think the chance to win. So my point of view is that the more challenging guy that will be the heavy wind contender, but they need to be able to stay in touch in the technical part in the middle of the week.
Now, you obviously have a close relationship with the reigning world championships, Augie Diaz and Bruno Prada, and they've got to be contenders for the podium, surely.
Oh yeah, I think they could. We will have some little difficulty in beginning because Bruno is pretty light now. He's cycling a lot, and he's lose a little bit of weight, so will be a little bit struggle keep in touch with the best team. But we will show our potential in the middle of the week and try to keep that till the end.
Okay. And who else are you looking at? Who else do you think are the big names contenders here?
I think overall we're looking to be careful over Xavier Roar and Mr. Ponceau. I think in this condition is my favorite for winning the regatta. Closer is going to be Edwin Melby and Josh Reckins. Sorry, I miss Josh. He's a great sailor. Sorry, Josh. And also I see during this week also Fritjo Keim and Jack Jennings really well prepared. So I will not surprised to see them battling for the top. And who else is close? We have some guys that are pretty good in middle condition, like Mandelbrot. He will sail with a legend of star sailors, is Magnus Leidler. That's gonna be really nice to see this new team built here for this great Bacardi Cup. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be one of the boat that you need to beat for winning this Bacardi 2017.
Very good. So top contender, possibly Xavier Rohart, Pierre-Alexis Ponceau, but some good runners and riders, and quite a good international fleet as well. You know, you've got Brazilians,
yes.
You've got a Norwegian, you've got Americans in there, and so quite an international fleet.
It is an international fleet. It was always an international regatta, Bacardi Cup. This year with the dad of the Star Sailor League is an international regatta with a high value of sailors coming.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, and good luck with your coaching. Cheers.
Thank you very much. See you.
So we're now live. We're in the US Sailing Center in Biscayne Bay in Miami. I'm here with Kathleen Tock, 6-time Snipe national champ from the USA. Lovely to have you with us, Kathleen. And Mr. Mark Reynolds, the one and only. You've won this Bacardi Cup, Mark, some 6-7 times. There's a little bit of debate about that. I'm not quite sure.
It's hard to keep track.
Well, one of the most successful competitors in the Bacardi Cup. And I wonder, Mark, if I may ask, I asked Xavier early, but what is kind of special about this particular championship, this regatta?
Well, this is the 90th year, so there's a lot of history. Started in Cuba, moved over to the United States, missed a couple of years in the transition. But it's always been, well, with the huge support of Bacardi, just a really special regatta. In the early days, there wasn't even an entry fee. Bacardi covered everything, and you still get a nice, bag of stuff when you enter, and they have special parties. And so it's, even though the professionals all come, it's also a lot of amateurs, so it's a little more of a mix than what you would get in, say, an SSL regatta, for instance. It's just a big fleet. We have 75 boats, I believe. Great sailing conditions. You can't get a better place than Miami in the winter. So it's all those things combined just to make it one of the top events. A lot of people consider it pretty equal with the World Championships, and it's kind of a unique event that way.
Cool. Kathleen, it's a different format. So for Star Sailors League, for the finals in Nassau, we've had much shorter races and quarterfinals and semi-finals and finals. Could you explain the format of how this week is going to work and the kind of old school style of racing that we're going to see?
Certainly. Well, when the regatta began in 1927 in Cuba, they had one race per day, and that's what we still have now, and it actually was a 10-mile triangle.
Wow.
And here we have 2 nautical mile windward legs, which is a lot longer than the standard SSL windward leg, or any regatta for that matter. So we do one race per day, and it can be 2.5 to 3 hours long. So endurance plays into this. You have the ley lines, or the sailors, are so far apart, so you can have 2 boats that are one in first and one in second, and they can be over a mile apart on the race course. So it makes tactics a little bit different than our normal SSL races, which we might have 2 to 3 races a day, 45 minutes long. This, we're talking about a 2.5 to 3 hour race. You can talk about how it's different from some of your other star races.
You have a big fleet too. Much bigger than a professional race like the SSL, and that's one reason for the longer courses. When you have 75 boats, if you go a mile, it can be a bit of a mess at the marks. And you'll still see everybody very close, but at least 2 miles gets things a little bit better sorted.
So they all start on one very long line, and we'll see probably a little marker in the middle to indicate where the line is in the middle. Mark, could you give us an insight into what it's going to take for somebody to come here and win on such a vast course over 6 races?
Well, you obviously have to have good speed, and a longer course allows you to utilize that speed, but a big fleet also makes it, like you said, such a big line. If you're at the wrong end of the line, you could be pretty far behind with a wind shift, and the wind is very shifty here generally as well. So it takes good tactics, good boat speed, and good stamina, because it is a longer race, and especially when it's windy, the Star is a difficult boat to handle.
Okay, so 3-hour course. You mentioned shifty, and I've been chatting away to quite a few of the sailors over the last couple of days, and they all say Biscayne Bay is quite shifty. Perhaps to our non-sailors and me as a sailor, can you explain kind of what that means when you're on the boat, and why is it so shifty perhaps here?
Well, in a lot of the probably 270 degrees of the compass, the wind is coming off the shore, either Key Biscayne from the north, comes from the north right off the city, and from the northwest offshore, and so that causes the wind to shift. And in sailboat racing, you're trying to play those shifts to sail the shortest course to the next mark. So the shifts are everything, and if you can predict, when especially it's generally oscillating, it's going back and forth, you try to stay as close to that course to the mark as possible. So you get a little wind shift that goes away from it, you'll see the boats all tack over.
Yeah, okay. We will explain that during the live racing as we go. Now, here are the conditions today. The weather, lovely 23 degrees Celsius, but look at the wind there. It's 20 to 30 knots out on the racecourse. Easterly direction with quite a nasty little chop. And I'm afraid for our viewers and everyone watching this at home and at work, it really does mean that it's a little bit too windy for the Stars. And earlier we saw our principal race officer, Carl Shellback, wander out onto the lawn and hoist the AP over A. So that is the scenario at Biscayne Bay for the 90th Bacardi Cup. They have blown out racing for today. That does mean, Kathleen, that they will try and get 2 races in perhaps tomorrow.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if they'll run those 2 races tomorrow. We'll see whether they pick a lighter breeze day. Tomorrow it's supposed to be windy again, not as windy as today, but they might choose to do 1 race tomorrow. Sailors can come in and rest after maybe another breezy day, and then they might choose to run the second race later in the week. But we've got a really good forecast for wind. It looks like we're going to have medium breeze through most of the week. So they're pretty confident that they're going to get all 6 races in. But this will be a departure from the normal 1 race per day.
Okay. And if you're doing 3-hour races, that's going to be pretty tiring, I imagine, to do 2 in a day.
Yeah, you know, it's for the guys that do this all the time. You know, Diaz, Rohart, those guys, it won't be a problem. But some people that just came down from the north and out of the snow, they might get a little beat up.
Yep. All right. So unfortunately, for the first day of the Bacardi Cup here in Biscayne Bay in Miami, we've been blown out for too much breeze. Yesterday really was howling, and it was blowing over 30 knots out on the racetrack. And today it's over 20, gusting to 30. And these very narrow aluminium mast sections are quite bendy and wobbly. So, you know, we would definitely see a few breakages, I think, today. And it's a sensible course. And I've not heard any mumblings and groanings from the sailors at all. So they're all quite happy with that. And, of course, the bar will be open early and the Bacardis will be flowing. And everyone's got their little thing. And, oh, my goodness, it's going to be a mess possibly this afternoon. But
that might make 2 races more difficult.
Well, it could well be. If they run a 2-race day, they will send everyone out an hour early for a local time 11 a.m. start. But I think that's probably a good call, Kathleen, that they might not do that tomorrow. They might just, because the wind is high at the moment, it's going to dip and then it might pick up at the end of the week. So I would suspect that tomorrow, if you join us in the live streaming for around 20 to 12, 20 to midday local time, we will have the features and we'll set up and we'll have a really good race tomorrow for you. 3-hour race live streaming with our marvelous commentators, our wonderful camera out on the water, and the incredible virtual eye that we haven't even seen yet, but we'll have that full bore and we'll get into real race analysis mode and try and dig deep into, you know, how the West was won, as it were, and I'm rather looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, well, from us in the studio and everybody, I'm just going to pull the plug now, because really, you know, that's it. You know, it's no racing today. We have some features that we can possibly play, but for now, that is it from us in the US Sailing Centre. Thanks for joining us. Do come back tomorrow, and the forecast is perfect for the rest of the week. But there you go. That's sailing. That's life, and it does teach us a little bit of humility that we can't control the weather. We are just human beings running around on this beautiful planet, and things are out of our control, and that's the way life is. And I kind of love it in a way. That's part of sailing. Can't beat a good postponement. AP over A. That's us. We will see you tomorrow. Do join us.